Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
So this video is purely for entertainment, and this is just curiosity. I mean, just some numbers. I just wanted to give you guys numbers. This is what they say are real, factual numbers. Just make your own conclusions if there are any conclusions to be found.
I think that's a fair thing to say.
Yeah, and so before we get started, just want to thank everybody that's part of the family. Make sure you're subscribed, have the bell clicked. A lot of people get unsubscribed. If you are interested in these videos, come in and check in every day, because typically we'll make videos about 360 days of the year. So there'll always be a video, whether or not you get notified. And there could be reasons why you're not getting notified, such as some of the numbers that we're probably going to look at. So, there's a couple things that come to mind right off the bat. And if you want to look at things from a biblical perspective, I think of where it says in the Bible, Satan took Yeshua, Jesus, brought him up on top of the mountain and said, "Look, all this I will give you if you but worship me." And when we look at Satan as the adversary, because that's what Satan is, Satan means the adversary. It doesn't necessarily mean, any one particular being. And the way I view it, it's a system. It's a system that we find ourselves in. Let's just look at some of the numbers of the system. What's the average American individual income? The real median personal income in the U.S. in 2019 was $35,977 per year. And so 2019 was the last kind of old normal year, because we obviously have a new normal, which is constantly changing and evolving. And there's nothing normal about the new normal at all, right? $35,977 a year is the real median personal income in the U.S. So we see stuff like this headline. Rand Paul, who for my money is one of the only people I would even remotely listen to in our political system. There's really hardly any, if any. But you know what? I got to give him kudos, because he's pointed out things that others haven't pointed out, put his neck out there. He's actually been physically attacked, I believe on more than one occasion. And so we see officially sends criminal referral on a certain doctor whose name means sickle in one interpretation, the sickle maker. You can't make this up. That's literal. To the Justice Department, to, in particular, Attorney General Merrick Garland. So, he's asking for an investigation. Now, this was back on 26th of July of this current year, right? And it's interesting that we're looking at certain big powers when we're talking about, the NIAI, National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, National Institute of Health, the CDC, the FDA. I mean, these are as big as they come, right? WHO, right? I mean, these are the foundations upon which the system, as far as the health system, relies. And when we look at the judicial system and we look at the Attorney General here, Merrick Garland, it's just kind of curious. You see, he's wealthy. He's very wealthy. His net worth somewhere between 7.6 and 25 million. I saw a couple of sources saying about 21 million, some key investments. Right off the bat, I'd like to say I would love to see a detailed analysis given to the public of everybody on the Supreme Court, everybody in Congress, all these people, CDC, FDA. Let's see what they are investing in. What are they investing in? For one, here we have somebody that's making a lot more, has a much higher net worth than the vast majority of people out there. And again, these are all the people that we are relying on. And here you see conflict of interest. This Dr. Sicklemaker's wife runs bioethics department at the NIH. She's the head of the bioethics department at the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. And, you know, there's a process through which things go. And there's certain approvals that have to be made before things can come out into the public and be put in use. And it's interesting how things tie together, you know? Conflict of interest is a key phrase. This is the former head of the FDA, Scott Gottlieb, who's also worth millions. And the question is, how did he become so rich? Well, you know, right now, he is basically working for a company that starts with a PF, makes a certain product that is in the news every single day, everywhere you look. And that company sounds like it starts with an F. Occupation? Well, he's a doctor and an investor. Oh, yeah. And he was the head of the FDA. And where does he go from the FDA? You know, he worked there as in the FDA, the commissioner. Yes, he works for that company. You can see highlighted there. Happened to buy a lot of stock. How much is that stock going to grow to? Right? I mean, again, Satan controls through greed. And Satan is the system. It's not one individual person. You know, we have to wake up and recognize, you know, that the Easter bunny is not there. Doesn't mean, you know, that there isn't a lot of candy given at Easter. Sure, there are proxies for the Easter bunny. Same thing with Santa Claus. We have the spirit of Christmas, and obviously, you know, there might have been a St. Nicholas. There was a historical St. Nicholas, but it isn't Santa Claus coming down your chimney. And it isn't, you know, Satan with a pitchfork trying to steal your soul. It's the system itself. And, you know, when we look at this and we see these interconnections of these people that make a lot more money than $35,977 a year. Way more money. Way, way, way more money. And how about where they're putting their investments? And this actually, you know, just came out a couple of days ago. At less than $50, this certain stock could reach 100 before 2025. Oh, that's an interesting date.
Mm-hmm.
D period, E period, A period, G period. You know the rest of that. .com. Interesting date. Yes, sales are likely to grow significantly, and the future is bright for anybody involved in that particular company. And here is the former FDA head. Now, so involved in that company and making a killing. How rich are the Supreme Court justices? They're pretty damn rich. Have they all? Has everybody we've looked at so far, have they quote unquote sold their souls to Satan? In the sense that are they compromised because of the love of money? Because, you know, again, you want to go biblically, you can't serve both Satan and money, right? You got to choose. Well, you can serve Satan and money, I should say. That's basically the same team. And again, I'm going to have people commenting and saying money is just simply energy, which it is. But in like 5D, for instance, there is no money. They don't use a monetary system like this when we're talking about like the Galactic Federation. Everything is an even energy exchange in which no party would want to give anything less than even because it would be a negative karmic debt. They just wouldn't do it.
And this is where we need to evolve too. And yes, with anything, any evolution, it takes time to get there. It takes baby steps, and it takes recognizing when something is out of balance and when it's not. And when you can recognize when something's out of balance and you have the ability to rebalance, then that's what you do.
So yeah, you could look, and this is when Ruth Bader Ginsburg was still alive. Her net worth was 4.4 to 18 million. Stephen Breyer, up to 17 million, 10 million, 6 million, 4 million, 2 million. They're all millionaires is the point. These are all millionaires to be. I want to see what their investment portfolios look like. It should all be out there for the public to know. So when they're voting on certain things that could affect major corporations making billions of dollars, you might know if there's a conflict of interest there. Conflict of interest. And, how about what the elected officials make? It's not about their salary. President of the United States, 400,000, VP, 230,000. No, their speaking engagements, their endorsements, and I was going to say a word that begins with a B, followed by a R, followed by a I, and I'll let you guys finish that. Here we see the current number 46. They say 9 million, but these people could always go and get an extra digit here or there because they're in the know. They're in these groups. They're in these secret societies. They come out of certain places, certain indoctrinations. Yes, speaking fees, Ivy League professor income, right? How about the Bushes? George H.W., 25 million. George W., 40 million. And the ties to also the royal bloodlines, which, we could get into, which we have. I have done videos on that before. How about BC, 80 million? And it's so much higher than this. Consulting, Gerald Ford was 7 million. It goes on again. Al Gore, 300 million. He's got a crap load of money, guys. And it's on the winds of climate change, book deals, BO, 70 million. Right? I mean, it goes on and on. These guys are all elitists. They are all in the millionaire club, 13 million. Is it a prerequisite that everybody that goes into some sort of major office has to be a millionaire? Why would that be a prerequisite when the average salary is $35,000 and change a year? In fact, the majority of lawmakers in the 116th Congress are millionaires. And there's a couple of them right there. Yeah, more than half of those in Congress are millionaires. And much of the wealth is concentrated at the top. The top 10% of the wealthiest lawmakers have 3 times more wealth than the bottom 90%. This is the structure upon which everything is. Here's your trickle-down economics. Don't worry, the top will let a little bit trickle down to the rest of you. And by the time we get down to the average people making $35,000 a year, here you go. Well, Rick Scott, Florida, wealthiest lawmaker, nearly 260 million in net assets, and you have just so much wealth, as you can see here. Pelosi for sure. I'd love to see where her investments are either. All we got to do is just dig it up. And you might see these salaries, which are still way higher than the average policeman, nurse, doctor, whatever professions out there. These salaries are still nothing to sneeze at, but they're just the starting point. And we could jump across the pond to the little red shield puppet, Emmanuel, which means God is with us, but has absolutely nothing to do with Macron. His net worth, 31.5 million. And we could see the other up here in Canada, and he's another one. And again, they're hiding when they show these numbers. net worth 12 million. It's probably much, much higher than this. They know how to hide it. That's why you have corporations. It's all about hiding stuff. Novel idea. What if, because this is all supposed to be about public service, the different branches, the executive branch, right? Legislative, judicial. What if it was a prerequisite that the only way you could get into any of these positions was to not be a millionaire?
Mm-hmm.
Or to not accrue this type of wealth, because it was really all about public service and not getting rich and not about power and control.
Well, that would be one place to start when it comes to bringing everything into balance, but we're just not there yet. We're not there as a people yet, which is really, really sad, because I know the potential is in every single one that's listening to this video right now.
So let's look at people's net worth, and let's look at the system which makes it so the only people that have a chance are millionaires.
Right.
And there's a reason for that. They've been on that mountaintop. They've had Satan showing them all that could be theirs, and they said, okay, where do I sign? And of course, that's just symbolic.
Mm-hmm.
But still, kind of makes sense why things don't seem to go the way of the average person, doesn't it? Or is it just me? Maybe my thinking is out of line. It just seems to be pretty darn logical, no? So, are you holding out hope that this guy's going to be honest?
Honest Abe.
I'm not. I'm not. Unless, as Yeshua said, hey, you really want to follow me? Give all your wealth to the poor. Just grab your robe, a couple of sandals, that's all you really need. And let's hit the highway and let's go help some people. Is he going to do that? No, I don't think so. I really don't think so. Would they do that? No, I don't think so. Yeah, would Scott Gottlieb do this? No. It's pretty obvious. You could just get a vibe from these people. You know where their priorities really are. It's not service to others. As always, guys, thanks for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. There's a link at the top of every video to medicinal foods where you can get some stuff that will actually help you and not hinder you, and as well as helping a small company that is just good people trying to promote wellness and consciousness ascension. And for them, you can't take it with you, guys. You can't take it with you. And a life is just a blink of an eye in the time span that the soul goes through. So it's not worth it in the long run to sell your soul for a little bit of gold.
Mm-hmm.
God bless and namaste.
Namaste.